Admiral Xavis stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship, Inevitable Dominance, gazing at the blue-green planet on the main view screen. Earth. Such an unremarkable world to cause so much trouble. The Galactic Empire had subjugated over 300 civilizations across 7 spiral arms. Surely these humans would be no different. Final diplomatic channel established. Admiral, his communications officer, announced, "The human representatives are standing by." Xavis straightened his ceremonial armor. After the humans had destroyed 3 Imperial scout vessels that attempted unauthorized orbital insertion, Emperor Zex Thalen himself had ordered this show of force. 200 warships now surrounded Earth, enough firepower to reduce the surface to molten slag. "Humans of Earth," Xavis began. His voice automatically translated into all Earth languages simultaneously. "I am Admiral Xavis of the Galactic Imperial Fleet. Your planet stands surrounded. Your military capabilities are insignificant compared to ours. Surrender now and accept Imperial rule, or face extinction. You have 1 planetary rotation to comply." There was a brief pause before a single human appeared on screen. She wore a simple dark uniform with minimal insignia. Her expression betrayed no fear. "Admiral Xavis," she replied calmly. "I am General Sophia Zhang of the Earth Defense Coalition. We've studied your empire's expansion patterns. We know what happens to worlds that surrender. Systematic resource extraction, cultural erasure, biological standardization, forced labor." Xavis was impressed by her composure, but irritated by her defiance. "It is the natural order. The strong rule the weak. Your species will adapt or perish." General Zhang's expression remained unchanged. "Before you make your decision, Admiral, I should inform you of something your scout ships failed to report." She nodded to someone off-screen. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Imperial fleet as hundreds of small objects appeared on scanners, rising from Earth's surface. "What trickery is this?" Xavis demanded. "Not trickery, Admiral. Just technology your scouts couldn't detect. You see, humans have an interesting history. We spent millennia fighting each other before we unified. We developed weapons specifically designed to be invisible until deployment." On his tactical display, Xavis watched in disbelief as the objects dispersed, positioning themselves precisely beside each Imperial vessel. "Impossible," his tactical officer whispered. "Our sensors detect no propulsion systems, no energy signatures." General Zhang continued, "We also have a saying on Earth, do not mistake our peaceful nature for weakness. We've been watching your empire for some time. Your conquest of the Altarian system was particularly brutal." Xavis's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. Our hull plating is composed of crystallized neutronium with quantum-locked molecular bonds," Zhang interrupted. "We know. We've studied it thoroughly. Those primitive weapons beside your ships are phase-shifted neutron destabilizers. They don't need to penetrate your hulls. They simply alter the fundamental forces holding your hull molecules together." As if on cue, one of the distant Imperial cruisers suddenly shimmered and then collapsed in on itself, the once mighty vessel crumpling like tissue paper without a single explosion. "That was a demonstration," Zhang stated flatly. "Each of your ships now has a similar device alongside it." Xavis stood frozen, mandibles twitching. This is impossible. Your species has barely achieved interstellar travel." "Because we chose to focus on defense before expansion, Admiral. A different philosophy than your empires. We have no interest in conquest, but we will not be conquered." The Admiral's mind raced. The Emperor would have his head for retreating, but the alternative. "You have 1 Earth hour to withdraw your fleet beyond the orbit of Saturn," General Zhang continued. "After that, we will assume hostile intent and respond accordingly. Additionally, You will carry a message back to your emperor. Earth is off limits. We wish to establish diplomatic relations, but only as equals. Any future attempts at conquest will be met with the full defensive capabilities of humanity. 2 hours later, the Imperial fleet retreated beyond Neptune's orbit, transmission arrays broadcasting a single message throughout the galaxy. The Terran system is to be avoided. By Imperial decree, no military vessels are to approach Earth. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zix Thalan read Admiral Sarvis's report with growing concern. It was the first time in 3,000 years that the Empire had been forced to retreat. Perhaps, the Emperor considered, it was time to learn the art of diplomacy after all.